My lady hath a sable coach, and horses 2 and 4. My lady hath a black bloodhound that runneth on before. My lady's coach hath nodding plumes, the driver hath no head. My lady is an ashen white, as one that long is dead. Hello again, so glad to see you. Sit a while and let me tell you the story of Lady Howard. I suppose it's about time I included a story that involves wicked women and headless horses who pull a carriage made of human bones. The story of Lady Howard is probably one of the more noted of Dartmoor ghost stories that has been told around the peat fires of a dark night. So, let's begin way back in the 1600s, where we can find John Fitz, who at the age of 21 inherited a vast fortune. As is always the case, easy come, easy go, and that was exactly what happened to his wealth. It went. Along the way, John Fitz turned into a ne'er-do-well, and as fast as he lost his money, he found a growing list of enemies. It was about this time that John Fitz had his daughter Mary, whose childhood was spent at the family pile at Fitzford House near Tavistock. When Mary was 9 years old, her father, who by now was totally insane, committed suicide. This left Mary with the family fortune, which at the time attracted the attention of many greedy eyes. King James I finally intervened and sold the young girl to the Earl of Northumberland, who then married her off to his brother, Sir Alan Percy. This then meant that the Fitz's fortune moved over to Percy and the Earl. Nice work if you can get it. Unfortunately, Sir Percy never lived long enough to enjoy his windfall, as while on a hunting trip he caught a fever and died. This tragedy then left Mary free to find her own true love, who came along in the guise of one Thomas Darcy. The couple stole off into the night and eloped in order that they could get married, much to the annoyance of the Percy family. Sadly, this second marriage was doomed to failure, as after a few months, Thomas Darcy also died. Once again, the rich widow became the target for fortune hunters, and once again she chanced her arm and married again. This time she had managed to secure her wealth in such a way as no man could get to it. The third husband apparently was none too happy with this, and the marriage was one long constant argument about the fortune. However, all was not lost, as the third husband followed the celestial route of his predecessors and died of causes unknown. For the fourth time, Mary found herself a widow, but also the subject of many scurrilous accusations concerning the deaths of her previous husbands. After all, 1 was a tragedy, 2 was a sad coincidence, but 3 got tongues a-wagging and fingers a-pointing. But Mary was not to be deterred, and eventually found herself a fourth husband. This marriage must have been a little more harmonious, as she gave birth to a boy which was christened George. Not long after his birth, husband number 4 died. Oops, there goes another one. It was after the latest tragedy that Mary decided to return to the now derelict family pile of Fitz House, where, with her son, she planned to live out her days. As it happened, her days numbered a lot more than her son's, because it wasn't very long before he too died, leaving Mary home alone. The story goes that the death of her son left Mary heartbroken, so much so that a few weeks after her son's death, she joined him along with her 4 husbands in eternity. So, you can imagine the stories. A woman whose father was a hated madman and who had seen off 4 husbands and 1 son. It did not take long before people began seeing her ghost. Legend has it that some divine entity sentenced her to spend eternity doing penance for her evil deeds. She was given the task of travelling each night from Fitz House to Oakhampton Castle in the company of a huge black dog with blood-red eyes and savage fangs. The nightly 30-mile round trip is taken in a carriage made from the bones of her 4 dead husbands and is driven by a headless driver. On reaching the castle, the black dog plucks a single blade of grass from the castle mound. Both dog and blade are returned to the carriage of bones, after which it rattles back to Tavistock. Once the grisly coach has returned to Fitz House, the blade of grass is carefully laid on a flat slab of granite. Only after all the grass has been removed from the castle mound at Oakhampton will Mary be allowed to rest in peace, which, judging by the lush covering, will be a long time away. If the phantom coach should stop outside any house, Then the occupant was sure to die, as would anyone for whom the coach stopped on the road. Those that have witnessed a ghostly journey say that the first thing you notice is the rattling of the coach of bones as it thunders along the road. As it approaches, the night air chills and the sound of thundering hooves grows louder and louder. Suddenly, a huge black dog with crimson eyes hurtles down the road, although some folks say it has but one eye in the centre of its forehead. The dog is closely followed by the coach of bones. On each of the four corners is a skull belonging to each of the four husbands. Its headless driver relentlessly lashes the four stallions with a long blood-stained whip. Again, reports differ, as some suggest that along with the driver, the horses are headless as well. As the coach passes, the ghostly white figure of a lady can be seen sitting in the back. If you're really lucky, her head will turn, revealing two eyeless sockets sunk deep into a pallid, grimacing face. After the carriage has sped by, the stench of rotting flesh is left wafting heavily on the night air. For those daft enough to continue their journey, there was a treat in store by way of seeing the coach on its return journey. Having maligned poor Mary, it might now be as well to put the record straight. Mary was born on the 1st of August 1596 and was baptised at Whitchurch. True, her father, Sir John Fitz, was a nasty piece of work who was guilty of the murder of two men. It is a fact that because of his behaviour, the family would detest him in the Tavistock area, and he did commit suicide by stabbing himself. He was buried at Twickenham on the 10th of August 1605. Mary married her third husband, Sir John Howard, in 1612, and he died on the 22nd of September 1622. She remarried in about 1628, this time to Sir Richard Grenville, who treated her atrociously, the outcome of which was a divorce and not his death in 1633. Once a divorce had been processed, she reverted to her previous name of Howard and was known as Lady Mary Howard. At no time in her life had she been remotely considered as an evil woman. In fact, quite the opposite, as Mary was always held in high regard. She actually gave birth to several children and died on October the 17th, 1671, at the grand old age of 75. There is even a walk around Oakhampton Castle which is known as Lady Howard's Walk, so the tale must be true. And there ends my telling of the tale of Lady Howard, who I feel has been treated rather harshly by the folklore of the area. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment below, be it good or bad. I hope to see you again very soon, and wish you a good day and a safe journey home. But best beware the sound of hooves and crack of whip on the lonely Dartmoor road.